Hello viewers, it's Max here. Welcome to Sunday Math. Today we're going to be looking at Sedevacantism.
First, Sedevacantism is not a cult. It is an observation made.
Wrong. Sedevacante is an observation. Sedevacantism is a schism. Schism is a refusal of submission to the Supreme Pontiff or of communion with the members of the Church subject to him.
By Catholics about the present status of the Church.
People who belong to this schism, although they may hold many Catholic beliefs, they are not in communion with the Catholic Church any more than the Orthodox Church is in communion with the Catholic Church, because, as previously stated, they are a schism, simply because they have left the communion. They've left the Pope. They have left the Church headed by the chair of St. Peter.
Second, to make oneself into a mini-pope would be to act as if one were the Pope. That would be like as if we canonized our own saints, granted annulments, excommunicated people, or any number of other essentially papal things. Nobody, at least in our organization, does any of these things.
Because you do not have communion with the chair of St. Peter, therefore you can't legally do any of these things. Just like the Orthodox, at least the rites that haven't come back into communion with the Pope are no longer in communion with the Pope and therefore can't do these things. For example, in the last thousands of years since their schism, they haven't had an ecumenical council.
It is the Novus Ordo ministers who have made themselves into a cult with their own popes. They have made up new teachings and new feast days and demanded submission to falsehoods and bogus liturgies.
The Church has been making new feast days ever since she was given to us by Jesus. Like Christmas, All Saints' Day, Easter. It's not like they were celebrating these immediately after Jesus' resurrection. So yeah, they celebrated the resurrection every Sunday, but they didn't have an annual feast day for it until, or as far as I know, the Council of Nicaea. Wait, what the? As for new teaching, when he says new teaching, is he talking about the same kind of new teaching the Church has done at every ecumenical council, which is expanding on the revelation given to them by Christ? For example, Humanae Vitae was an expansion on the rights of the human person, as we are made in the image of God. It's not a new teaching, but the Pope gave it in reaction to almost the entire world thinking it's okay to, although at the time the tagline for it was safe, legal, and rare, John Paul II held absolutely that there was no exception in where it's okay to kill an unborn child. And John Paul II was an invalid pope, making that document of Humanae Vitae an invalid teaching. I do wonder if the followers of Sedevacantism hold that it is okay to kill an unborn child. If this is your logic, if John Paul II is an invalid pope, and they do argue as to how far back the actual papacy ends, but if John Paul II is after that, is his teaching on Humanae Vitae, is his audiences, which make up the theology of the body, are all those teachings invalid? Do the followers of Sedevacantism hold that it is okay to kill an unborn child? And it banks on the question, is that a new teaching? Is it new as in, is it something that the Church hasn't held before? Or is it a clear, concise, written expansion upon the teaching given to us by Jesus?
Annulments and excommunicating people as if they had any authority to do these things.
Because they do.
They made up a fake religion, not us. And they have no right to demand submission from anyone.
The Church doesn't demand submission from anyone. They only demand submission from faithful followers of Catholicism.
First, Sedevacantism is not a cult.
All right, that short's over. this is a short explanation as to what it is, and at least I wanted to get at least one of these videos out before I start talking about something else. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed that. God bless you.